Hi, friends. It's Joy with In Search of Joy Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I decided to put together a short sequence that I am calling an intro to beginner's yoga. It's a few strength poses, it's a few floor poses that are easy to grasp as a beginner, and they're also beneficial as you progress with yoga, something that we do all the time in yoga. So, this sequence is going to be roughly around a half an hour long, and we will get started. Go ahead and place a block underneath your hips. If you don't have a block, that's fine. Just make sure that your sit bones are pressed evenly into the mat or the block, lengthening the spine, shoulders slightly up and back. Don't overextend the low back. Make sure you have the natural C curve in the spine. Placing the hands, palms up, closing the eyes down. And we will start to breathe. And we're going to do this breath for 5 counts. And I'll count you on the first 2. And then the last 3 you'll do on your own breath with your own count. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go ahead and do it on your own count for 3 more rounds. Go ahead and flutter our eyes open. Right now is a good time to set an intention for your practice. Send yourself some gratitude. Showing up is the most important thing. Sometimes it's the hardest thing. Let's bring our hands to heart center and welcome that energy in. Let's go ahead and remove whatever we are sitting on and come into a table, and we're going to do a few spine openers, or spine, what am I trying to say? Making it more bendy. I can't think of the word. So we'll do a few cat and cows. On an inhale, I'm going to go ahead and start to drop the chest through bring the chest through the shoulders as the throat extends up. Tummy is reaching down to the ground as the sacrum is reaching up to the sky. On an exhale, we're going to start at the sacrum, bending the sacrum in, tilting it, tucking it. There we go. In as the spine starts to reach towards the sky as you push the ground away, tucking the chin into the chest. Inhale, starting at the sacrum. Sit bones start to curve up towards the sky as the tummy Start to reach down towards the ground as the chest reaches through the shoulders. Neck and gaze is up. Exhale through the tailbone. Rounding, 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 pushing the ground away, tucking the chin. Go ahead and do this on your own breath for 2 more counts. Go ahead and come to a neutral spine. We're going to move into our first downward facing dog for the day. Tucking the toes, planting the hands, shoulders over the wrists under the shoulders. Like I say, tucking the toes, sending the hips up and back. Keeping a slight bend in your knees, pedaling the feet out, lifting the hands, making sure that you don't dump all the weight into the wrists. You're placing the weight of your hand, the weight in your hands on your thumb and the first finger, that L shape of your hand. Let's go ahead and find some stillness here. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and take small little steps up to the top of the mat. And we'll stay in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing the weight into the feet, the generous bend in the knees, curling at the spine, raising the torso 1 vertebra at a time as we come to standing, straightening everything out. Hands meet above the head. On an inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. And what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to do a chair pose. So what you're going to do is you want to make sure that your first 2, your big toes are touching and your heels are slightly apart. Knees are touching together. You want to really clench in your glute muscles. That's what I find. On an inhale, we're going to raise the arms up to the sky, biceps by the ears. And on exhale, we're going to take a seat. Inhale. We're going to hold this one for a little while. And on exhale, inhale. And your next exhale, we're going to pour forward. We're going to step back into a downward facing dog for a moment. Dropping the knees to the mat. Coming into table. Shifting the body forward. Dropping the chest and chin to the ground. Ashtangasana. Inhale. Sliding the body through to low cobra. And on exhale, we're going to come back and tuck the toes, go into downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to go into tripod dog, lifting that right leg up to the sky as if somebody was pulling on your toes. And your next exhale, we're going to step that right foot through in between the thumbs. Make sure that your feet are on train tracks here, keeping the left toes tucked. On an inhale, press into the ground as you push this torso up. Crescent lunge. On your next exhale, dropping the left heel to the ground at a 45-degree angle. We're going to come into Warrior 2. Keeping those arms strong, reaching the fingers out. Make sure that your right knee is over your ankle and in line with your second toe. Breathe here. On your next exhale, bring the elbow to the knee. And we're going to do a side angle stretch. Left arm rainbows over, really reaching over to the opposite side of the room. Heart slightly towards the sky. We're creating a lot of length here, so don't dump your weight into your leg. Breathe. On your next exhale, start to straighten your right leg as your hand comes down to your shin or your ankle, a block, or even the mat. We come into triangle pose. From here, bend the front leg, planting the hands. Take a step back, downward facing dog. Now let's go ahead and take those small steps up to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale as we come to standing with a slight bend in the knees or a generous bend in the knees. Bringing that torso up one vertebra at a time. Hands come to heart center. What we are going to do now, guys, is eagle pose. Eagle pose is something that's really good. It really helps stretch out. It helps stretch out the hips and the low back, and it really helps stretch out the shoulders and this back area, this area that gets really super stressed out all the time, the tension area. So I'm going to keep my hands in prayer. When you keep your hands in prayer and you keep your thumbs pressed into your sternum, it helps you balance a lot better. So I'm going to put all the weight into my left leg, really planting it, rooting my toes into the ground. And I am going to swing my right leg over. Now you can kickstand it here if you can't swing it all the way around and hook it on your calf on this side. So this is fine, but this is ideal when you can get it around there, okay? But we all have to take our baby steps to get to where we need to be. So let's start. Wiggle out and get that stiffness, that weight out of my leg. All right, I'm going to place all the weight into my left leg as I swing my right leg over, and I'm going to hook it on to my left thigh. Hook my foot around to my left thigh. On an inhale, I'm going to tee my arms, and I'm going to bring my left arm on top of my right arm. Now, if your hands can't twist here, you can meet the backs of the hands right here. If that's not accessible to you, to bring them all the way around. All right? Now, let me get back into the pose. Cueing it and doing it at the same time is challenging. Woo! We're going to take a seat. Pressing the hands together. Pressing the knees together, the legs together. Pulling those elbows out away from the body. Woo! Exhale, release. Woo-hoo-hoo! That was challenging for me too. On an inhale, let's go ahead and move back to the top of the mat, and we are going to do our flow. Inhale. Hands meet above the head. On the exhale, forward fold. Planting the hands. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Taking small steps up to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Slight cobra in the back. Hands can be on the mat or the shins. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing the feet so much into the mat with the generous bend in the knees. We're going to come to standing, hands meeting above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now we're going to prepare for a chair on the left side. So big toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands reaching to the sky. Exhale, sitting the hips back. The key is to be able to still see your toes if you look down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, planting the hands. We'll step back into downward facing dog, dropping the knees to the mat. We'll come into child. Slithering through, keeping our nose close to the mat as we wiggle on into low cobra. On exhale, pushing the ground away, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the left leg. I'm going to hold it here. Another exhale, stepping the left foot through in between the thumbs. On an inhale, lifting the torso up, keeping the right toes tucked. Crescent lunge, keeping the hips square. On an exhale, dropping the right heel to the mat, foot at a 45-degree angle, left knee over ankle in line with the second toe. Open up into warrior two, reaching both arms away. Inhale, dropping the elbow to the knee, reaching the right arm over, heart slightly turns towards the sky, and breathe. Your next inhale, go ahead and straighten that left knee, placing the left hand on the shin, the ankle, a block, or the mat as we come into pyramid pose. As the right hand reaches the sky and your gaze is up or down to the mat, whichever is more comfortable for you. Exhale, bending that left knee, bringing the hands to the mat. And we will step back into downward facing dog and do our flow. Inhale. Let's take small steps to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, pressing into the mat so much. Generous bend in the knees. Stacking the vertebrae one at a time. Inhale, hands meet above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. So on an inhale, reaching the arms up, let's go ahead and forward fold. Planting the hands, we're going to step back into downward facing dog. Dropping the knees to the mat. Shifting back into child. Inhale, coming through into low cobra. On an exhale, pushing the ground away. Come back to seated on your heels, hands to heart center. All right, guys, let's go ahead and bring ourselves to the mat. Laying on our backs, extending the legs out, teeing the arms. What we're going to do is we're going to do a supine twist here. Bending the right, I got to move over just a little bit. Bending the right knee to the sky, foot flat on the mat. What we're going to do here is make sure that you glue your shoulder blades to the mat as you start to twist and bring the right knee towards the left side of the mat. You can use your left hand to assist, but just don't break that connection with your shoulders to the mat. We're trying to get a stretch more in the low area of the spine than the top part of the spine. We're trying to get this part of the spine. I need to learn my body parts better. Bear with me, guys. Oh, we also want to turn our gaze to the right. I keep forgetting that for some reason. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale. We'll come back to center. And we will do the other side. Straightening out the right leg, lifting and bending the left leg. Arms are teed out. On an exhale, going to bring that left knee to the right side of the mat, keeping the shoulders glued. Using your right hand to assist in the twist, if you'd like. As your gaze looks over to the left. Inhale. Let's go ahead and come back to neutral. Exhale, stretch out the legs. Kind of give yourself a little wiggle it out. Let's go ahead and bring our knees into our chest. Give ourselves a hug. We can wiggle it out here too. Make some movements and rock back and forth, side to side. Or what I'm doing is just making little wiggles on the areas that are really sore on my back. Now we're going to do a supine or reclined pigeon. I keep adding L's to everything lately. All right. Keeping the left knee up to the sky. We're going to take our right ankle and we're going to place it on top of our left knee, opening up and keeping this figure 4 in our right leg. As we reach through the figure 4, we can grab behind our thigh or grab in front of our shins, right by our knee, as we pull the left knee towards the body, and as the left knee tries to pull away from the body, causing some resistance, and keeping your sacrum glued to the back, glued to the mat. I can really feel this in my hip and my outer thigh. Kind of in my knee a little bit too. One more inhale. And on your exhale, release the left leg to the mat. And we'll switch sides. Right knee up to the sky. Left ankle crosses on top of the left knee, keeping that left foot flexed. Open up, keeping a figure 4 in the left leg. Bringing the knee to the chest, reaching behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Clasping the hands. Pulling that right knee towards the body as the right knee is trying to push away from the body, creating resistance there, keeping the sacrum glued to the back. Keeping the sacrum glued to the mat. I don't want to say low back. And so that's the word that keeps sticking in my brain. Exhale, dropping the right leg back to the mat, unwinding. Go ahead and lengthen out the legs. Open up the arms slightly, let them fall naturally out, and we are coming into our Shavasana. Taking some time to give yourself thanks and gratitude for your body. Feeling how your body feels on the mat, feeling the weight of your head, arms, hips, legs. Listening to your breath. How does it feel? On your next inhale, go ahead and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Keeping your eyes closed or heavy. Bringing your knees up to your chest. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a hug. Bringing the forehead to the knees. Exhale, rolling over to one side or the other. I always roll off the mat. Taking a moment in fetal. Taking that top hand, pressing it into the mat as we come back to seated. Go ahead and replace what we were sitting on, if you were sitting on anything. Bring our hands to heart center. Thumbs to the third eye. And we'll bow forward and say, Namaste. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of your practice today. I hope you enjoyed this short session and all my mispronunciations today. That was pretty funny. Anyway, Join me next week for a new session and we'll see what I can come up with. And I appreciate you guys allowing me to be a part of your practice. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up, leave some comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next week.